Welcome back everybody, for our episode 2 of 2. Yesterday we did episode 102. Today we're going to do 202 of our fantasy league, how I draft some of the players I think you need to look at. I'm going team by team instead of me ranking my guys 1 through 10. Other people might think, this guy's better than this guy. I'm going to give him a top 5, a top 10, and let you guys choose. I'm just going to go over each team, strength of schedule, some of the opponents, because to me that's what dictates sometimes if they're going to have a good season or not. If they got to play some really tough defenses right out of the gate, you might not want that player playing for a couple games. So, you don't want to start the season 0-5 and try to be making up 10 wins the rest of the season. So, I look at that, strength of schedule along with the players, veteran players versus rookie players, how many people switch teams, are they coming in a new organization. This year is going to be a different year with the whole COVID-19 epidemic going on. You got new players switching teams that don't have time to play with the other players on that team to learn their patterns, their routes, the new playbook. I mean, Brady, Cam Newton, their veteran quarterbacks are going to learn. They're going to pick it up, but to learn their wide receivers' routes and timing with them, guys, it's going to take a little bit. I mean, it's just going to be a tough season. There's no preseason games. Workouts are going to be limited, maybe limited. So we're going to see. I mean, it's almost the last week of July here, so we got a month before season starts in September. So we'll see how it goes. I want to do this fantasy league right now because it's got to be on everybody's mind of who I want to draft, and hopefully we have a season. I think I got a gut feeling. I mean, baseball season started back again today, guys. Basketball season's coming up. I think football's going to happen, and just I don't know all what's going to be detailed of. Is there going to be anybody in the stands? Going to limit people in the stands? We'll see how it shakes out in the next month or so. But I do want to go with the fantasy league players. I think they're going to do good this year. This year's going to be kind of a changing of the guard from a lot of veteran quarterbacks like Brady, Breeze, Roethlisberger, Rivers. Just to name a handful. They got, 1 or 2 years left. Even Aaron Rodgers, I hate to say it, but, he may be switching teams or out. There's a lot of older veteran quarterbacks, and you got a bunch of new rookies coming up from Mahomes to this year's draft picks and Burrows and stuff. You got a changing of the guard at quarterback, I think, right now in the NFL. So it'll be an interesting year of rookies and veterans, and next couple years of some switching of the old guard out. There'll be a lot of changes, I think. Saying that, we ended with Green Bay Packers yesterday, guys. So our next team on our list is the Houston Texans. I'm just going to run through the next 20 teams here or so. And I said pick the players I think is going to do good. Some of them you might want to keep on your radar, how I pick them. So we'll get going here, guys. Hopefully you watch episode 1. If not, go back and watch episode 1. And then I get into how I pick my guys, running backs that can catch the ball, wide receivers that have good quarterbacks on the team. You got a great wide receiver, but you didn't get nobody throwing the ball. That kind of hurts. So I kind of go into how I pick my guys like that. Plus strength of defense, I look at, or strength of their schedule. I look at too of the defenses they got to play. So we'll get into that a little bit here. So we'll start with the Houston Texans. You got Deshaun Watson, top 5 quarterback. I mean, you got Mahomes. You got some other guys right there, good too. Watson's he's gonna top 5 pick if he's there. When round 1, most people are gonna go after your or running backs. I mean, round 1 running backs. Round 2 is when they, you look for your wide receivers, maybe a second running back, and you start looking at your top quarterbacks that can put a lot of points on the board because they can throw. Watson can run along like Mahomes and some of these other guys. And Lamar Jackson, they can run, put points on the board as well as running as passing. So he's a top 5 draft. One of your top quarterbacks is going to get picked off the board. You lost DeAndre Hopkins. That's going to hurt. You got Brandon Cooks. So you brought a speedster in. Not quite the same caliber as a Hopkins. Hopkins is a top 5 wide receiver pick. Cooks a little lower, but I think he's gonna do all right. He's getting some playing time. I said with lack of preseason and stuff, these guys switching teams got to get timing with these quarterbacks, especially quarterbacks, wide receivers, tight ends, learning routes. Running backs, not so much. But I think Cooks is going to be a top 15, so wide receiver-wise, Cooks, I think he's going to be a top 15 wide receiver. Watson, top 5. David Johnson might be one that you guys want to keep on your radar. It seems like Houston always kind of gets their running back a little more. They get out of him more than what the other teams do. I think David Johnson's going to be a surprise on this team. I give him a top 15 pick. If he's there in the top 15, you got your McCaffreys and Barkleys and very good players out there at running back. David Johnson may be one. If he's there in the second round and you already have within the first round, you got a good running back and he's still there as a second, number 2 running back to top off your 2 running backs. If you have 2, most fantasy teams have 2 running backs. I'd grab him. I think he's a top 15. He can catch. He can run. This team's got some decent wide receivers with Stills and Fuller, so they're going to be throwing the ball. I think to give David Johnson some opportunities. So top 15 there with David Johnson. Talking about the other 2 wide receivers, Stills and Fuller. They've played with Watson a little bit before. They're going to know a little more than Cooks coming into the season. So if they're there in the top 15, top 20 picks, I say Fuller before Stills, just by a little bit. But, you know, Watson's got to throw the ball to somebody. He's a good quarterback. He's going to throw the ball. He does not have Hopkins to throw to no more. These other wide receivers are going to pick those numbers up. So might be some surprises here on this Houston team. Defensive-wise, I know with J.J. Watt, you got a good player there, but still you're 28th. I'd be careful this defense. This wouldn't be a defense I think I'd pick in the top 20. They do have a little tough schedule, I guess. Kansas City, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Minnesota, Jacksonville, Tennessee, Tampa Bay right out of the gun. So there's some tough ones here, guys. But you got some pro players here. I think they can put some points on the board against these tougher teams. Kansas City and Baltimore. Kansas City, I think they're going to be hurting a little bit on their defense this year. So Baltimore's going to have a tough one. Pittsburgh's going to have a tough defense. So that's Houston in a nutshell. Indianapolis Colts. Colts is going to be an intriguing team. You had Mack. You picked up Jonathan Taylor. Being as a rookie, like I said before, with the lack of preseason games and stuff, he may not get in as much as on a regular season. But I think by week 4 or 5, they're going to be splitting the ball 50-50. Further into the season, he may have the ball a lot more than Mack. He's a tough runner, hard runner. They got Jacksonville, Minnesota, Jets, then Chicago, Cleveland, Cincinnati in the bye week. Not too bad of a schedule here for Phillip Rivers taking over the Colts. Phillip Rivers, he's another one that I think they signed him to a 1-year contract. It's going to be a prove-it year. He switched teams. He's got to learn a new coach, new system, new wide receivers, routes, their timing. Phillip Rivers may be a top 20. I just can't get him in the top 10. Top 20, though. I mean, he's going to... Indy's got some wide receivers in T.Y. Hilton. And I think T.Y.'s the only one I would draft, probably off the Colts team. Top 15, probably wide receiver. But going back to their defense, or who they play, their defenses, they're going to play Jacksonville. Not real tough. Minnesota could have a tough one. Jets, Chicago could be a tough one. Cleveland, Cincinnati, and then a bye week. I think if I had Jonathan Taylor and Mack both to choose from, Mack's going to be playing, I said, at the beginning of the season, but Taylor's going to be taking the reins, I think, later on. I'd almost choose Jonathan Taylor over Mack, but I don't know if either one would be my first pick in the first round. Maybe second or third. So Jonathan Taylor maybe a top 20 pick, Mack top 25. I said, the way the season goes, Mack's going to have the touches at the beginning. Jonathan Taylor more towards the end, I believe. Phillip Rivers, he's going to have the touchdowns, he's got some throws. The key thing I want to focus on in the Colts, Phillip Rivers always threw to his tight ends. Antonio Gates, the tight end he had last year, I think Hunter. Phillip Rivers is one that always throws to his tight ends. Doyle, it's not going to be ranked real high. What's his first name? Jack Doyle. So, Jack Doyle, maybe I can't see he's going to be an Antonio Gates type of season because of Philip Rivers is there, but Philip Rivers, kind of like Tom Brady, relies on his tight ends. Doyle might be a sneaky pick. I think a top 15, he's worth a top 15 pick. Maybe pushing the top 10, I don't know, but Doyle is going to be that sneaky one, guys. If Philip Rivers gets rushed, he's going to drop it down to a tight end. Doyle is that dark horse, guys. Don't forget his name. So, defense, Colts from Millipack at 16th last year. They got a decent start of the season. So, maybe a top 15 defense. I don't know if even maybe a top 20. They do some tough teams. You're going to put up some points, but not a bad defense if they're there. You know, if you're Baltimore's, your San Francisco's, some of these are already gone. Middle of the pack, Colts wouldn't be a bad one to pick up. So, Colts, I don't think I missed anybody. I said T.Y. Hilton's like the only wide receiver I would focus on this one. Jacksonville Jaguars. Minshew fever went real well last year, then it kind of put it up towards the end of the year. Minshew's probably, to me, a top 20 quarterback. Last year, yeah, it was his rookie year. I mean, he's going to learn from that, going to hopefully have a better season. They got the Colts, Tennessee, Miami, Cincinnati, Houston, Detroit, and then a bye week to start the season. Not that bad of a schedule, guys. He's got DJ Chark, which to me, Chark's probably a top 20 wide receiver in your draft. Conley, D.D. Westbrook. I had D.D. Westbrook. He gave me a few points, and next week he would disappear, and I know he was hurt for a little while last year. D.D. Westbrook, maybe a top 30 wide receiver. I would say probably top 30. Minshew's going to have some opportunities to put some points on the board, this season, especially beginning through week 7, which is his bye week. Not a bad pickup. And the player then, the top player on this team, to me, is Fournette. I know he kind of has to be traded during the offseason. I don't think he's going to get traded. Anything can happen to guys. If they cut the salary cap back, I know they're talking about saving money and maybe cutting some players here and there to save money on each team and spread that. The lack of money coming in this year, spread it out so it's not hurting the team so bad. If they drop their salary caps on their teams a little bit, you might see a lot of trading going on, guys, for who knows. I think Fournette's going to be there in Jacksonville for the time being with the schedule I said with Indianapolis, Tennessee, Miami, Cincinnati, Houston, Detroit. He's going to do some running, guys. I mean, he's going to put some points on the board. I know if he's not happy, he might not be playing as well as he could be, but if he wants to show something and get traded, for a team to give him more or want to make that extra buck, he's going to show some effort here. I see Fournette being a top 10. I think a top 10 running back to pick up later part of the first round, beginning of the second round of your draft. If Fournette's there, I'd pick him up. I think he's going to have a decent year. As far as Jacksonville's defense, 24th last year, guys. It's not a defense that I would consider in the top 25. If you have to have a defense just to fill in a spot, Jacksonville's going to be that defense. So, moving on, Kansas City Chiefs. Talk about draft picks galore, guys. There's all kinds of draft picks on this team you guys can pick up. Mahomes, and I'm not going to say he's number one quarterback to draft, but number 1, 2, or 3. Him and Lamar Jackson are right there. So, you look at the schedule. Okay, you got 2 quarterbacks that are similar. How their schedules look. Kansas City's got Houston, Chargers, Baltimore. It'll be a tough one. New England had a tough defense last year. Raiders, Buffalo, gonna be a tough defense. Denver, Jets, Carolina. I think Mahomes can put up some numbers there. Tyreek Hill's your top 10 wide receiver, guys. Probably maybe a top 5. He could be very easy to be a top 5 wide receiver. Hardman and Sammy Watkins, maybe top 20, top 25. They're going to get some points, but not a lot. Here's where one of your top 1 or 2 tight ends are, guys. If you want Travis Kelce, you're going to be having picking him up the first, probably the second or third round, or he's going to be gone. He's like, he's going to put up a lot of numbers and a lot of touchdowns. He's the go-to guy on the end zone line. So If you want Kelsey, you got Kittle too. I'm jumping ahead a little bit here. Kelsey and Kittle are your 1 and 2. I'm not gonna say which one's which. They're two of your top tight ends. If you want them, you better pick them up around the third round, or they're going to be gone after that. But to me, I like getting them a little bit early. There's going to be some wide receivers after that, guys, that you can pick up. That are going to be pretty good. If you miss out of your top wide receiver and you get Kelsey and you get, a not so high wide receiver, I'd rather have somebody in that spot, tight end, putting up numbers for me than somebody not in that tight end position, and you maybe get 3 or 4 points. No, I like filling up spots. I like my defense being a top defense. Going to put some points on the board. There's so many games I lost last year by like 3 or 4 points. 3 or 4 points. If you get a tight end that's a little bit better, it can have 50 yards receiving, almost guaranteed a game, instead of maybe 1 catch or 2 catches. To me, that's worth it, because I think wide receivers, you can pick some guys up down the road. I like getting a started. I like my guys that put numbers on the boards. Tight ends one of those positions a lot of people don't care about. Kickers one of those positions, and along with defenses. Get those guys. I would get those guys filled up. Not super early. If you can get a defense that's going to have 2 or 3 turnovers a game, if you get a kicker on a high-scoring team that's going to put some points on the board with extra point kicks and field goals, and you get a tight end that guaranteed some catches a game, them are all points that add up. I mean, it might be 10, 15 points extra a match, and you win by 5 points because of those guys. So don't look over your tight end position. Kelsey and Kittle, they're on the board yet. Don't take it for granted by the 3rd round that they're still going to be there. So by that time, I'd be picking them up. The running back position on this team's got me a little bit intrigued. Damian Williams had a great playoff season last year, guys. He's going to be there, probably starting off. But they got Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He's going to be their running back of the future, guys. There's no doubt. He's going to be their number 1 guy down the road. They're going to still give him a break. But like I said, with any rookies this year, they got to learn this offense. So I think Damian Williams is going to have the first 4 or 5 games. Maybe get him through the Baltimore, New England games in weeks 4 and 5. And you can start seeing more and more of Clyde. Clyde, I would pick up probably as a top 20 pick. I don't know if I'd pick him up as my number 1 running back, but if he's there in the 2nd round as my number 2, I'd probably pick him up, because by middle of the season, he's going to be running the ball a lot more. Maybe possibly a go-to guy on the end zone. I like him. Damian Williams. He's going to get less and less touches as the season goes on. Right off the bat, he wouldn't be a bad top 20 pick. By weeks 4 or 5, 6, 7, I may look at trading him. He's got some good numbers at the beginning of the season. He's going to look good at the beginning of the season, because you got a rookie still learning. Once that rookie learns in Clyde, Damian's going to start weakening, or getting less and less carries. Push him back, maybe look for some trade bait, because he's got some good numbers. You're going to know those numbers are going to start dropping off towards later on if Clyde Edwards-Helaire starts getting the ball more. So top 25 or so, I would be trading him by mid-season, because I think Clyde's going to get more of the touches. Kind of like maybe the Jonathan and the Mac in Indy. Mac's got some nice points in the first 4 or 5 games. Then maybe look to trade him, because Jonathan Joseph's going to get some more and more touches as the season goes on, as the rookie learns more, and I think he's the better ball player. So watch for trade bait 4 or 5. These guys are doing good, I want to keep them. Watch the rookies behind them. If they're trying to play more and more, that's a kind of red flag, guys. Maybe look to trade them pretty quick there before that rookie overtakes their starting role. So I covered Mahomes, top 1 or 2. Covered running backs. Tight end, number 1 or 2. Tyreek Hill. Kansas City's defense worries me a little bit. I think they lost a couple guys on defense. Last year they were 17th. So they're middle of the pack. Middle of the pack defense. Teams are going to score on them, so they got to put up the points. So offensive guys, grab them. They're going to put up the points. Defensive wise, they're going to allow some points. You're going to get a win with them. You get some points, but it's not a defense I'd pick in the top 20. I think if you got a team going against Kansas City, I would play him because it's going to be like a 40-35 game. It's going to be a lot of points on the board because Kansas City's defense. So I would kind of stay away from Kansas City's defense. Yeah, if Hill or somebody runs a punt recover or punt or a kickoff back, there's 6 points on the board. So that's where they're worth a little bit, but not a high pick, guys. Their kicker, Butler, yeah, they're gonna put points on the board. He's gonna get 5-10 points a game. Get him. Butler, I mean, he'd probably be the top 4 or 5 kickers I'm gonna look at to put on my team because of the high scoring offense. No, hard one to say. Not the Oakland Raiders, guys. The Las Vegas Raiders. Kind of got used to saying that. So the Vegas Raiders. That just sounds weird. Vegas Raiders. So Derek Carr, if he can stay healthy, top 20, guys. I can't give him more than top 15 in the top 15. There's too many decent quarterbacks out there, from Breezes to Rodgers to some of these rookies coming up. Carr, top 20 quarterback. This wide receiver wise, he's got Terrell Williams, Ruggs, which I believe is a rookie, Hunter Renfrow. Not a lot of big name wide receivers to throw to put him to build his stats up. So that's one reason why talking about those guys. Ruggs, I believe, is a rookie. Confirm that, yes, he's a rookie. So it's gonna be a little while before him and Carr get on the same page with routes and speed and timing wise. Terrell Williams, I had him a little bit last year on one of my teams. I played him a little bit, and then I didn't play him. Kind of a hit and miss guy. Top 20 pick. He's their number 1 wide receiver right now. So I give him a top 20 pick, but I would say no higher than that. Tight end, Waller had a good year last year. I think Waller's worth the top 10. I don't know if I put him in the top 5. Close between the top 5 and top 10. Right in that realm of tight ends to pick up. So my guy I like on this team, the guy you need to focus on, I think, is Josh Jacobs, their running back. 1,000-yard rusher is a rookie year. He's going to have that again this year. If you look at their schedule, Carolina, poor defense. New Orleans is going to be tough. New England, Buffalo, Kansas City. So 3 out of 5 there. They have some pretty tough defenses. Then you got a bye week. Tampa Bay, Cleveland, Chargers, Denver. He's going to get his touches. He's going to get his catches. Josh Jacobs is one to me that can catch and run both. Worth it to me, a top 10 pickup for running back. If he's there in the top 3 or 4, probably don't pick him up. If you're in your draft and you got from the 7th pick down, Jacobs is there. Probably not a bad guy to pick up later in the first round, beginning of the second round. All right, guys, real quick drink. I don't want to cough like I did yesterday. So, next team. Oh, I didn't think of touching on their defense. Defense was 19th, so top. I know that they picked up a few key guys out through the free agency this year, and I think they picked up a few decent draft picks. So, their defense could be a little bit better this year. So, maybe a top 15, maybe pushing the top 20 defense for Oakland. Another one, I kept saying San Diego Chargers. The Los Angeles Chargers. Oh, the Los Angeles Chargers, the Lost Rivers. So, Tyrod Taylor is most likely going to be. I can't say that because he's new to the system too. So Tyrod Taylor, or Justin Herbert, rookie. So you got a veteran quarterback coming into a new team. You got a rookie quarterback coming into a new team. No preseason games. You have 2 top wide receivers on this team though. They can throw the ball to. So I think Keenan Allen and Mike Williams are both top 15 draft picks. 2 good wide receivers. But you got 2 newer quarterbacks to the team. They might not see the ball as much as they did with Phillip Rivers, even though last year Phillip Rivers was a little bit off. I still give them both the top 15. Those 2 wide receivers, top 15. I just don't know who's going to be the quarterback. My bet with the year the way it is going to be the veteran and Tyrod Taylor. Top 25. I mean, if you really hurt for a quarterback, yeah, he's going to be a starter. How long? I don't know. Defensive wise, they got Cincinnati, Kansas City, Carolina, Tampa Bay, New Orleans, Jets. They don't have a bye week to week 10. If they're struggling and they're only 1 or 2 or 3 games. Only have 1, 2 or 3 games. You may see the rookie come in at that point, being he's the quarterback of their future. So I don't know if I'd either touch either of these two quarterbacks in the top 25 of the quarterbacks, guys. It's going to be touch and go here. Eckler as your running back, he's going to be more. Can't say more. Even as receiving and running. So like 700. Sorry, guys. 700 yards receiving, 700 yards rushing. I mean, he's one of those guys, kind of like a Kamara, where he's going to catch as many passes as he's going to rush as many times. So, to me, Eckler's, I'd say top 20. To me, he's my second pickup on as a running back on my team, not my first. Yeah, he's going to be the starter. He's going to put up some numbers. He just ain't going to put up the numbers I want as my number one running back on my team. As a number 2 guy, not bad. So, okay, touch on the two wide receivers I'd take. I don't know about quarterbacks. I don't know if I would touch either one of them. Tight end. Hunter Henry. Yeah, Phillip Rivers liked throwing to his tight end, so Hunter Henry had some decent numbers. You might see that this year, if these quarterbacks are getting rushed because of lack of, playing time with their team members, whatever, they're getting rushed, Hunter Henry's going to be the go-to guy. So Hunter Henry, to me, is a top 6 or 7. I don't know if I put him in the top 3 or 4, but top 6 or 7 tight end. Sorry, guys, tight end. If he's there and the top 3 or 4 tight ends are already gone, you're starting to see the tight ends get pulled off the board, and he's left there yet, he might not be a bad one to pick up. He's going to be their go-to guy on short passing, maybe even in end zones. They don't have the Melvin Gordon to pound the ball in. You may see them more of the passing to the tight end at that time. Saying that, Tyrod Taylor can run the ball. You may see that a little bit too. That gives him a little bit of worth, but I'm not sure he's going to be the starter halfway through the season. That scares me a little bit. So, Chargers defense, they were ranked 6th last year, guys. If that offense can keep their defense off the field a little bit, give them a rest, you have a tough defense. So, Chargers, I'd give them a top 5 defense to pick, but with the way their offense may be, maybe only a top 10, because you got to give that defense time to rest. I think maybe passing the ball, short passes, running, they may be able to do that. So between the top 5 and top 10 defense in my draft for the Chargers. Next team, guys, is the Los Angeles Rams. Rams is one of those intriguing teams to me this year. You no longer have your number 1 running back. So he's gone. You picked up some guys in the draft that I think are going to be taking his place with Cam Akers. Cam Akers, I said, another running back that's going to most likely be the starter. But being the way the season is, he may not be it right off the bat. I'd like him as maybe a top, with this offense, as a top 15 pick. It's just, I don't know if I'd be playing him right off the bat, guys. He may be a guy I pick up as my second running back in round 3 or 4. I sat on him a few weeks into the season until I believe it's Henderson. Is your next guy behind him? Yeah, Darrell Henderson. Henderson may get more of the playing time out the first few weeks of the season. Saying that, your schedule is Dallas, Philadelphia, Buffalo, Giants, Washington, San Fran, Chicago, Miami, and then a bye. Darrell Henderson's going to probably be your starting running back the first 3 or 4 weeks. Akers is going to start coming on by midseason. Week 9's your bye week. That might be the week Akers takes over the reins. Henderson's he's one of those guys, maybe pick up in the top 25 if he's there. Top 25 running backs. As your maybe 3rd running back. I don't know, as your 2nd. But by midseason, you may be wanting to trade him because Akers is getting the playing time. Kind of what, I know it's hard to get rid of guys showing numbers, but when you see that rookie taking more and more of his snaps, that's time to get him somebody else that may need a running back, knowing that he's going to start getting less and less points, guys. So running backs I like. Robert Woods is kind of one of those, I think he's one of those wide receivers that's underrated. Robert Woods, I would give as probably a top 10 wide receiver, guys. He does a lot once he catches the ball. I like Robert Woods. It's a top 10 wide receiver, especially naming the teams on their schedule. I like Woods is going to have a good year. Cooper Kupp's coming back. To me, Cooper Kupp's top 20. A year or so ago, I would say probably top 10. I don't know where his injuries landed him at. If he slowed down, lost a step, I don't think he has. I just don't see him as their number one guy. I see Woods as their number one guy. Kupp as their number two. I'd still draft him, as my second wide receiver. Kupp's gonna be he wouldn't be my number one wide receiver pick. He'd definitely be a number two. So I said top 15, top 20 wide receiver. Tight end Higbee, probably top 5 or 6 tight end guys. He's going to get his passes. I like Higbee. If he's there, I saw seeing tight ends taken. If he's there, right there at the top, I'm taking Higbee. So I like Higbee, one of the tight ends, one of the running backs. And then there's Jared Goff. My only thing against Goff, once he gets rattled, if defenses get in his face and he gets rattled, he makes mistakes. If he has the game under control, excellent quarterback. If he gets rattled, gets hit a few times, that's when he starts rushing a little bit. With that, I give him a top 20. Only a top 20 pick for Goff. He don't run a lot. He's more of a pocket passer. And I said, here's one thing. Some quarterbacks under pressure, they pick it up and go with it. You see a Breeze or a Brady, the rush don't bother them. They feel it. They know it's there. Boom. Goff, he still feels it. He feels that rush coming in. It rattles him a little bit. So around the 20, top 20 quarterbacks that get picked, he's right. Yeah, he's going to be their starter. He's going to be playing every game for him. I just can't give him a whole lot higher than top 20 because of he's not going to run the ball a lot. There's other veteran quarterbacks and younger quarterbacks coming up that are going to be a little better with stats than him. Defense, they were 13th last year. Going against the defenses that are going against the offenses, Dallas is going to put up some points. Philly's going to be decent. Buffalo could be decent. Giants, Washington, San Fran, Chicago, Miami. You're going to get some points in there, guys, but top 15 defense. I mean, you got some key players on this team that are going to be Hall of Famers, I think. You got some very good defensive players. As a team overall, I don't know if I can give you more than a top 15 ranking as a defense to be picked. So, going on to the Miami Dolphins. This is Mr. Draft Pick team. I mean, they had a bunch of draft picks last year, guys. Are rebuilding, but they still have Tannehill as their veteran quarterback, which will be most likely starting until Tua learns the game a little bit more. So, saying that, here's one of those positions where Tannehill's going to start. If Miami is playoff contention, I should say, by mid-season, you may see Tannehill staying in there. If they're under 500, Tua may start coming in and being their quarterback of the future this year and taking more of the snaps. So, at Tannehill, I just can't draft him in the top 30, guys, because I know Tua's going to be there sooner or later this year. Tua's going to be the same way, top 25, top 30, but he's got to learn the system. Wide receivers, you got Devontae Parker to throw to. He's going to be your go-to guy. To me, a top 15 wide receiver. Devontae Parker, top 20 wide receiver. Preston Williams, Albert Wilson. I really can't see drafting either one of those guys. Tight end, Gesicki may be your drop-down guy real quick, getting rushed. So, Gesicki probably a top 15 tight end. I can't see a lot of points coming out of him, but some. He's going to be one of those guys that won't have any points one week. Next week, he can have a touchdown. So, top 15 for him. Breida and Howard as your running backs. Breida's a little speedster. I mean, he did okay for San Fran last year until he got hurt. Howard went from Chicago to the Eagles, and now to Miami. He may be your third down back punching into the end zone. Breida may be in between the 20-yard lines. He may be your catching, running back on downs 1, 2, and 3. Unless you need a yard or two, then you may put the power back Howard in. I like Breida to take over the reins here and carry the ball more than Howard. I still can't put him more than like a top 25 running back, though, guys. He got injured last year. Yeah, he's fast. He can catch and he can run. We'll probably get more snaps than Howard. It just in this offense. I look who they're playing against: New England, Buffalo, Jacksonville, Seattle, San Francisco, Denver, Chargers, Rams. They got a pretty tough schedule with some decent defenses. Yes, the Miami team's going to put up some points. It's not going to be huge numbers though. So if Breida's there, you got maybe your two top running backs already, and you got a good wide receiver, and Breida's still there on the board as a flex player. Perfect as a flex player. Howard maybe as a flex player. As your third running back, they can fill in on your bye weeks. Breida could surprise some people though. He's that dark horse that if he takes over the realms and plays all 3 downs, and then Howard comes in for the touchdowns and stuff, he's going to steal some. But Breida could get a lot of yardage between the 20-yard lines there, guys, and catching and running. So Breida's going to be a little surprise player, I think, for some, if he can stay healthy. So don't fall asleep on him. If he's around and you just need a guy to fill in, he won't be that bad of a player. I would pick him up if I had my two running backs. My flex was still open. I needed that flex guy. Perfect guy. So defense-wise, 30th last year, guys. I wouldn't touch this defense. Kicker-wise, I don't know if I touch the starting kicker, which is Sanders. Just not enough points on the board, not enough defense or offense coming together. Too much of a rookie team, maybe in a year or two, and all these rookies have a chance to come together. So now the Saints. So New Orleans Saints, guys. He picked up, I believe it was Lattimore on defense. Their defense is going to be a little tougher. Picked up Emmanuel Sanders as a legitimate number 2 wide receiver. Saints, to me, guys, is going to be a very intriguing team this year. It could be Breeze's last year. He's going to be playing to win it all. They've added to defense. They've added to offense. If Kamara can stay healthy, Breeze can stay healthy, this could be a very intriguing team to go the distance. I know Kansas City's been there before. I know Baltimore's going to be hungrier because they lost it last year, but San Fran's going to be there. New Orleans Saints could be a surprise. Maybe not a surprise. Maybe people are ranking these guys up higher, but I think they're hungry. They're going to be a hungry team. Especially if it is Breeze's last year, he's going to give it everything he has to pull this off. Saying that though, Breeze, he's not going to run a lot. He's going to pass a lot this year, guys. I don't know if I gave him as a top 10 or top 10 quarterback, just because of his lack of running and all the younger guys in the league right now. Definitely a top 15 pick. I wouldn't hesitate drafting him as my number one quarterback. If the Mahomes and some of those are already taken, Deshaun Jackson. If some of those are already gone, yeah, Breeze is going to be there. He's not going to put up much points running, but he's going to put a lot of yardage up through the air, especially with what he's got now. So saying that, Michael Thomas, a top 2 or 3, maybe even 1, 2 or 3, top 1, 2 or 3 wide receiver in the league. He's going to put up some numbers because of Breeze. Emmanuel Sanders may pull from those numbers a little bit. Saying that, Emmanuel Sanders to me is a top 15 wide receiver. He's speedy. He's fast. He did some things with the Broncos last year as well as the 49ers. I had him on my team last year. I liked him. When he caught the ball, he could do things. And with not all the focus being on him, on Thomas, on Kamara, on Breeze, I think Emmanuel Sanders is a top 15 pick. I like him. If he's there as my second wide receiver, I'm picking him up. Kamara, I don't think he's ever had 1,000 yards rushing, but he's had like 800 yards rushing, 800 yards receiving. Top 10, to me, top 10, because 1,600 yards, okay? You get 800 receiving, 800 rushing. Same as a running back getting 1,600 yards, or, that's top. I mean, so to me, Kamara's a top 5 because of, if he can stay healthy, guys, because of those numbers. He's going to get some touchdowns, too. Tight end, Jared Cook. Top 10. I think a top 10 tight end with this high-scoring offense. I think he's going to catch some balls and be the goal line type of tight end you want. Defense, top 5, guys. With what they've added on defense, they already had a good defense. I think top 5 defense here, guys. Will be a tough team. William Lutz as their kicker. Get him. Top 2 or 3. He's going to be one of the top scoring teams in the league, along with Kansas City. Get this kicker. If he's on the board, high scoring offense means a lot of extra points, a few field goals. Pick Lutz up, guys. If the kickers start going, grab him. Or he's going to be gone when they start going. So you may want to grab him. If you think kickers are going to start going, get Lutz or Kansas City's kicker. If you can get 5 or 10 points a game out of your kicker, that's awesome, guys. So Breeze covered. Latavius Murray as Kamara's backup. He's going to get some carries, guys. To me, he's not worth the top 30 unless Kamara gets hurt. And yeah, he's going to be worth it. Unless Kamara gets hurt, Murray to me is only a top 30 pick. I guess the gamble, guys, on this team is this Josh Hill. Not Josh Hill, Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill, quarterback, wide receiver, running back. I don't know what your league is going to put him at. Here they got him as a quarterback. As a quarterback, I don't know if I would even touch him because Breeze is your quarterback. They also picked up Winston. There's going to be your 2 quarterbacks. If something happened to Breeze, I think Winston, if it's deep enough into the season, he's going to be knowing the system. Hill, I don't know. I kind of like to see him as a quarterback of the future for the New Orleans Saints because he's trickery, guys. He can run it, throw it, pass it. He's a big guy. I love to see Taysom Hill. If Breeze does retire in a year or so, I love to see Hill as their starting quarterback. I think he can do a lot with this team. But saying that, I said top 5 defense, some top 10 players with Breeze. Breeze, Kamara, Michael Thomas, Emmanuel Sanders. A lot of guys are going to put up some points. They're scheduled to look too bad, guys. Tampa Bay, Raiders, Green Bay, Detroit, Chargers. Then they got a bye week. Carolina, Chicago, Tampa Bay, San Fran. There's some tough teams in there, but this team's going to put up 30 points. I would say 30 points a game. So somebody on this team's going to be getting touchdowns. So look at a lot of these guys. Moving on, we got the Giants. Daniel Jones has still got to prove himself to me a little bit. You look at their schedule: Pittsburgh, Chicago, San Fran, Rams, Dallas. Right off the bat, I mean, I got Barkley on my team, Saquon Barkley, and them numbers, them top 4 or 5 teams worry me about my number 1 running back. Yeah, Barkley. Yeah, he's a top 5 running back, guys. Jones throwing against those teams is gonna be tough. Daniel Jones, to me, is right now only about a top 25, top 30 quarterback pick. He can run a little bit. He's got some youth for him. But until they get through that first top 5 or 6 weeks of the season, you don't want your team, if you got Jones and he's not putting up very many points, you don't want to start the season as a fantasy league team 1-5 or 0-6 because your quarterback's not putting up 10 points a game. He's going to put up some, but these are some tough defenses, guys. When you're talking Pittsburgh, Chicago, San Fran, Rams, Dallas. I mean, there's some tough defenses here, guys. Barkley worries me, but he's still a top 5 pick. Jones, like I said, worries me a little bit, but he's there. Sterling Shepard, Slayton, Golden Tate as your wide receivers. You got some value here. How much that Daniels can get him the ball. They have Sterling Shepard ranked as the number 1 wide receiver on this team. To me, maybe he's your second wide receiver. Don't pick him up as your first. Top 25 maybe, or in the top 25 range. Golden Tate, same, top 25, top 30. Until Daniel Jones can prove himself to me that he can, I think this is his 3rd year. He's got to be able to throw it downfield and make plays happen. As of yet, he's not proven that to me yet. So, their defense, I know they had some key guys. I would still maybe only the top 20 defense guys. Barkley's your number 1 guy you want to look at on this team. Tight end is Evan Ingram. He may be a drop-down guy for Daniels. So Ingram, probably a top 10 tight end for this team. Saying that, about all I gotta say about the Giants. Now we got the Jets. So, with the Jets, that's what I want to touch on is their defense. They were ranked 7th in defense last year, guys, which that stat size surprised me. I didn't see Jets being the top 7 defense last year. Saying that, their schedule is Buffalo, San Francisco, Indianapolis, Denver, Arizona, Chargers. This team is going to put up some numbers. So, maybe a top 10 defense for the Jets this year. I mean, they were ranked 7th last year. I'm going to knock them down to 10th because of the strength of the schedule the first part of the season. Sam Darnold, he's shown some glimpses of greatness and then not so much. Darnold, to me, is only about a top 20, in the top 20, between top 20 and top 15 quarterbacks I'd pick up. Le'Veon Bell, he's got to come around, guys. To me, he's only about a top 15 running back. Yeah, he's going to be their starter, but he didn't show me a whole lot last year. He's got to show more. You know, that he's still got some gas in the tank, guys. Wide receivers is Perriman, Mims, which is a rookie, and then Crowder. I think Crowder's the number 3 wide receiver. To me, he's their number 1 on this team. Crowder's a slot guy, maybe a top 15 pick. Perriman, Mims. I don't know if I touch these guys till way down in the draft where you need a wide receiver and they're still left. I said Mims is a rookie. It's going to take him a little time to get on the same page. So, Ryan Griffin's a tight end. Top 20, guys. I didn't see a whole lot out of him yet. So, to me, Griffin's, I said top 20. So, defense might be something we want to look at. Their defense might go under the radar of a lot of teams because they didn't have a great season last year, but they're a decent little defense here. Darnold, Bell, there's just not a lot of guys. I mean, they're going to put up some points. Not a great fantasy numbers. Bell may surprise some people this year. If he's there 3rd or 4th round, you may want to grab him up. He will put up some numbers because he's going to be the number 1 guy. Who they're going against that worries me is Buffalo, San Fran, Indy, Denver. They get behind, they're going to have to throw the ball, and you're taking him out of the game a little bit. So that's what's going to hurt. Next one, the Philadelphia Eagles. One more drink, guys. Eagles, 10th ranked defense last year. Probably about the same this year, probably a top 10 defense. Schedule, Washington, Rams, Cincinnati, San Fran, Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Giants. There's some tough teams in there. Can win some. To me, Carson Wentz has had some injury problems recently, in the last few years. Top 20. He's a starting quarterback. He's going to have some numbers. To me, only a top 20 because all these young guys ahead of him in the league right now. Zach Ertz is a top 5 top 5 tight end. Ertz is one you want to look at picking up as tight end, guys. Miles Sanders is going to be this guy on this team that to me is going to be the star, the outstanding guy. I know I'm putting him in the top 5 already. Definitely a top 10. You know, the top 3 or 4 guys are already gone out of the first round, and he's still sitting there as a top 4, 5, 6, 7 running back. Get him. He can run. He can catch. They got rid of Howard. They got rid of some other running backs on this team. This is going to be Miles Sanders' team, guys, as a starting running back. He's going to put up some numbers. He can catch. He can run. He can do it all. I'd give him as my number 1 tight end if the top 3 or 4 are already gone. Wide receivers, you got a couple decent ones in Deshaun Jackson and Alshon Jeffries. They're both up there in age. There's still some top wide receivers that Winston's going to get the ball to. I said they've been around for a while. To me, both of them are like top 25 in the top 25. Between 20 and 25 is where I'd pick them at. Maybe my number 2 wide receiver, definitely not my number 1 wide receiver. I got pretty much covered those guys. Wentz, the running backs, tight end. This would not be a bad kicker to get. Their kicker is going to be Elliott. I think this team's going to put some points on the board, so Elliott, a top 10 kicker. The Pittsburgh Steelers. Here's one of those defenses I would take in the top 5. They were ranked 5 last year, so definitely a good defense, guys. Their schedule is Giants, Denver, Houston, Tennessee, Philadelphia, Cleveland, Baltimore, then a bye. That defense is going to have some turnovers here and there and put up some points beginning of the season. Pittsburgh, top 5 defense. Roethlisberger, is he back? Can he stay healthy? He's another one, along with the Rivers and the Bradys and the Brees that all may have a year or two left. He's going to want to try to do it one more time. If he can stay healthy, he's a probably top 20 quarterback. He can, maybe he can still run. I haven't seen him last year. He could get in the top 15 range because of his wide receivers and Juju Smith-Schuster and Deontay Johnson. Juju, if Roethlisberger stays healthy, Juju to me is a top 10 pick. He's young. He's going to put some numbers. I do like Deontay Johnson too. Maybe it may be closer to a top 15, top 20. My second wide receiver I'm going to pick, not my first. They're going to have these decent numbers. James Conner, he had a good year 2 years ago when Roethlisberger was there. Not so much last year when Roethlisberger wasn't there. If Roethlisberger can stay healthy, Conner's a top 15 running back, guys. Chris Boswell is your kicker, top 10, high top 10 kicker. Defense is the big one you want to focus on this with team. Schuster's not going to be a bad wide receiver to pick up as your number one wide receiver. San Francisco 49ers. Number 2nd ranked defense, guys, so definitely the top 5 realm of defenses. They go against Arizona, Jets, Giants, Philly, Miami, Rams. They're gonna have some turnovers here, guys, these younger teams. So top 5 defense, get them when you can. Garoppolo has not impressed me a whole lot. He's a good game manager. They no longer have Emmanuel Sanders. They're Deebo Samuel. I know he was hurting. I don't know if he's gonna be ready. I haven't heard too much about Deebo, if he's ready to go this year or not. But Deebo, if he's healthy, top 15. Watch his health, guys, going into the season. He's just recovering. I may pass on him for a while because of his injury. He's going to be there later on in the season. So if you want to pick him up, if you got a bench space to put him on until he's healed up and you know he's going to do good. Ayuk is a rookie. They say he's going to do good. Like I said, one of those seasons where they have to have time to play together. I don't know if I touch him this year, guys. But being those 2 wide receivers, one's hurt, one's a rookie. Garoppolo might struggle a little bit. Top 25 quarterback, guys, just because your wide receivers are hurting. Yes, you got probably one of the 1 or 2 tight ends in the league, and Kittle. Kittle's going to be your go-to guy. There's going to be guys all over him because of the wide receiver issue. Still, Kittle's the number 1 or 2 tight end pick. But I said beginning of the season, he may have more coverage on him than usual because the one wide receiver's hurt and the other one's a rookie of your starters, guys. Mozart was one traded here a week ago. And if he stays with the team and is happy, a top 15 pick. If he's not, Coleman is going to be the top 15 pick. If they're both on the team, splitting time, Mozart is going to be your better of the 2. Coleman, he's going to get his time in, though. So, Mozart, he worries me a little bit. So, top 15 and top 20. I don't know if he's going to be happy playing there. If he's happy, he can put up some numbers. Same as Coleman. So, Robbie Gould, getting up there in age, but this team's going to put up some points. Top 10, probably top 10 kicker. This defense is the defenses you want to look at is their big player on this team is the defense along with their tight end and Kittle. So they got a pretty decent schedule going in, so they'll put up some points, and their defense is going to stop from getting points. Seattle Seahawks. Going to be another intriguing team. Russell Wilson, guys, is always, to me, he's a top 5 quarterback. He can run, he can pass. All these guys can do it all. So Russell Wilson, to me, a top 5 quarterback. Starting off the season, they got Atlanta, New England, Dallas, Miami, Minnesota, then a bye week, then Arizona, San Fran. You know, about 50-50 tough teams, not too bad at teams. So if he's in the top 5, Russell Wilson, not a bad quarterback. Chris Carson, I know got hurt at the end of last year. I don't know how soon he's going to be back. A lot of people are dropping him down in the rankings. He played tough when he was in there, guys. I don't know where his injury's at. Because of that, about top 15. If he was healthy coming into the season, top 10. Watch his injury. If he's doing good, you're going to take a little bit of a gamble. Get him as your top 15 pick. Penny is definitely going to be hurt beginning of the season. I don't know if I would touch him right now. Maybe leave him sit and see if he can come back from his injury. They got Carlos Hyde, still top 30 running back. He may start the first couple games of the season until Carson gets back. Then once Carson gets going, further down, and if Penny comes back, even further down. So Metcalf is going to be the number 1 wide receiver. DK Metcalf, probably to me a top 15 wide receiver. Last year was his rookie year. He's got a few things to learn yet. Lockett, same, about a top 15. Both are like my number 2 picks for my number 2 wide receivers on my team. Neither one are my number 1 wide receiver on my team. David Moore, even probably top 30. Jason Myers is a kicker. This team's got to put up some points. So to me, top 5, top 7 kicker for them. Defense, they were 26th last year, so not as good as they used to be on defense. Some of the teams they're going against, Atlanta can put up some points. We'll see what New England and Cam can do. Dallas, Miami, Minnesota. So I'm leaving it as a top 20, top 25 defense. Don't let the defenses of the past pick this team up in the top 10, more in the top 20. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Oh, did I cover tight end? Greg Olsen went to the Seattle. I got him already above Hollister as the number 1 tight end. He's showing. You guys are showing his age sooner or later. Top 25 guys. Top 25 for Olsen or Hollister. See who's winning the quarterback job here. So back to Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tom Brady switching teams. Shocker to everybody. Want to prove himself somewhere else. He's got to learn this system. He's got to learn. A lot of people think, oh, he's going to have a great year. They got 2 good wide receivers. Watch it, guys. You got Gronk, an old buddy of his, on the same team. You still got a new offense, new coach, new team. Things are going to change. Brady is a veteran enough; he can pick up a lot of stuff, but without practicing with these guys in preseason, which maybe not as much as he could have. Timing may be off a little bit here, guys. We'll see. To me, Tom Brady's going to have, like I said, he's got 2 good wide receivers and some decent tight ends. He's going to have some stats. Maybe a top 15, guys. Top 15 quarterback, though. He's not going to run much anymore. There's a lot of young rookies out there. Not rookies, a lot of young guys in the 3rd or 4th year. Josh Allen's, Mahomes that are better pickups. Ronald Jones is their starting running back, maybe the first couple weeks. I like Keyshawn Vaughn. You got to give him some time to get used to this team. To me, Keyshawn Vaughn, by middle of the season, he's going to be their starter over Robert Jones. Robert Jones will be the starter right off the bat. So saying that, Robert Jones maybe a top. Brady, you think about Brady and the Patriots and the running backs, it's never a lot of good stats. I always stayed away from New England's running backs because you didn't know who was running with the ball. To me, Ronald Jones, I think top 25. Because of that, also because of Vaughn coming up. Vaughn, if he's there, dang it. I hate to pick him up as my second running back with him not starting for a while. Top 25 for Vaughn until he gets, going. If you got room on your bench and he's still there, and you got a flex player or you got room on your bench and he's still there, pick him up. He will have, by midseason, be coming in a lot more. So, talking about the 2 wide receivers, Goodwin and Evans. Or Godwin. Godwin to me is a top 10. He's going to be Brady's go-to guy, I think. Mike Williams is no slouch, or Mike Evans. Mike Evans is no slouch. With Brady there, these 2 guys are going to have some decent numbers. So I think both will be in the top 15. Godwin could be my number 1 wide receiver if I pick him up in like the third round. But Godwin, then Evans. I said both of them are going to have decent numbers with Brady being there. Tight ends. They got Gronkowski. I think O.J. Howard knows this offense a little bit better. Gronk had a year off, but he knows Brady. It's going to be one of those things where Brady may have 2 tight ends. He may have O.J. as well as Gronk out there, and 50-50 to either one of them. O.J.'s the younger guy. He may be a little more athletic at this time in his career. I don't know. Gronk's been WWE and wrestling, so I don't know. Maybe a top 15 for either one of them. OJ or Gronk, you're going to take your pick. Who's going to be they're going to be their number 1 tight end. They both might put up really similar numbers, guys. So top 15 for those. Kicker, I definitely pick up because I think this team's going to score quite a few points. So Matt Gay, I probably pick up in the top 10 kickers. I think he's going to have a decent year with this. That worries me is their defense, right in the middle pack, 15th ranked defense. Going to be about there this year again too. Brady may manage the game a little bit more, where this defense can get a little more of a breather over Winston starting. So the defense may come up a little bit, but still, to me, a top 15 defense. All right. A couple more teams, guys, here. We got Tennessee and the Washington Redskins, and we're done. Tennessee Titans, they got one player that I would definitely draft in the top 3 or 4 running backs, and that's Derrick Henry. So Derrick Henry, get him when you can. Definitely first round, get Derrick Henry. Tannehill, top 15. A.J. Brown, Corey Davis, Humphries. He's not got a lot to throw it to. A.J. Brown, probably a top 15 wide receiver. So, Brown's going to be the go-to guy. A.J. Brown's going to be the go-to guy. Tannehill, he's not going to run a lot. Tight end, Jonnu Smith, top 15. He's going to get some catches because of the wide receiver core that Jonnu Smith's going to have a few catches because of that. But as of defensive wise, 21st. Yeah, top 25 defense guys. Their schedule is Denver, Jacksonville, Minnesota, Pittsburgh, Buffalo, Houston. Henry's going to put up some numbers in a few of those games. So Henry's the key player on this team. The rest are, I'd say, not worth the first couple rounds. Maybe the 3rd or 4th rounds. We're looking at Tannehill or A.J. Brown. Brown maybe a little bit higher than that, maybe 3rd round. You could get him as your first wide receiver. So going to the last team, the Washington, formerly known as Redskins. I guess what we call them. The Washington team, formerly known as Redskins, or I've heard a lot of teams, a lot of different suggestions for this one. What to say? The Washington team. How about that? The team from Washington. I can't say that because I got Seattle. So, state of Washington. So, the Washington team. Well, I don't know. At any rate, the team formerly known as Redskins. Dwayne Hopkins has not shown me a whole lot yet. Yeah, he's going to be a runner. But he's not showing me he can throw for a lot yet, guys. So, top 25 quarterback here. Geis is injury prone. If he can run for a full year as their number 1 running back, he can put up some numbers. He's fast, very fast. He can catch as well as run. If he can stay healthy, a top 15 pick. If he keeps getting injured like he has the last couple of years, he's top 25. Maybe taking as your number 2 running back or a flex player, hoping he stays healthy. Adrian Peterson, if Geis gets hurt, it's going to be Peterson's ball game. Man, he's, how many years can this Iron Horse keep going? So, Terry McLaurin, I give him a top 15. He's going to be a decent player, guys. Yeah, he's young. Last year was his rookie year. Him and Haskins got to get on the same page a little bit more sometimes. I think I give Terry McLaurin a top 15 pick. I think he's going to put some decent numbers up. The rest of the team, Harmon, Steve Sims, I wouldn't touch him right now. Defense-wise, they were 27th, so I wouldn't even touch his defense. Look for somebody else. There's not a lot of players that pick up this team right now. Your best one's probably Terry McLaurin if guys can stay healthy. Tight end, Jeremy Sprinkle. I don't know if I even look at him or not either. So that's all I got, guys, for my all 32 teams, 2 episodes. This ran a little over an hour, guys. Sorry about that. I'm trying to go a little quicker, but I said I didn't want to go through and rank the guys because Mahomes, and I don't want to say Mahomes is number 1 because of Jackson, because of Hopkins. And there's going to be some change of opinion of who's number 1, who's number 2. I just want to give the top 5, the top 10. If they're still there, then grab them. So, thanks for listening, guys. I know it's a little bit long episode. I try to go through the fantasy league picks here, guys, of quarterbacks. Get a quarterback that can run a little bit, put up some points, maybe run a ball in. Running backs, they can catch, so you put up dual points, rushing and receiving. Wide receivers, look for teams with good quarterbacks, so wide receivers can catch the ball a lot more. Tight ends, look for quarterbacks that like dink and dunk into the tight ends. Philip Rivers is notorious for that. Brady is notorious for throwing to their tight ends. Look for teams that got quarterbacks that like throwing to their tight ends, even though they've switched teams. Like Jack Doyle for Indy. Keep an eye on him, guys. Kickers, pick up kickers with high-scoring offenses. Pick up defenses. They got, they're just, defense is one of those things. If you got a good team with a good defense, they're gonna cause them turnovers. So other than that, guys, hopefully I helped you out in the draft. I know it was a long episode. Maybe we can just do the top 10 of each, top 10 quarterbacks, top 10 running backs in another episode. Make it really quick. Otherwise, thanks for listening, guys, to the Crazy Sasquatch Show. And until next time, good drafting, have fun, enjoy it.